Then let's start with Chris Brown. He decided to hop on Twitter this weekend and share his hopes and dreams. That was a huge mistake. Just thinking, a crazy world tour with Beyoncé, Rihanna, Bruno Mars, Chris Brown, 2 for 2, and if y'all decide to do it without me, give me 10%. Of course, the internet wasted no time dragging him back and forth. Is this trolling? I don't even know what kind of response he expected here.
Nah, you're not trolling. He's dead serious.
Yeah, he's dead ass.
But he thought people would receive this well. Knowing how they feel about
there's
him.
an obvious angle where it's like, yo, Chris Brown, are you fucking stupid, right? Like, clearly, don't talk about going on a world tour, this big 2 for 2 thing with Rihanna. That will never go away. You just have to separate, no matter how great she is, no matter how great you are. You just got to throw that in the bushes, okay? However, I think the other thing that people are going in on him is that, yo, Brad, do you really think you fit on this lineup? Now, I always said about Chris Brown, honestly, and no disrespect about it, I love the Beehive, but Chris Brown more talented than all the rest of those people on that list, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is talented. If I can just jump in for a second. I think the question here, and I want to see if we can debate this, should Chris Brown be more humble on social media? As you just said, he's got a stigma of putting hands on Rihanna. He's a beater, certified and convicted. But should he be more humble? I think that his stupid inner thoughts get the best of him at times. He was talking about people swagger jacking his style a year ago. With regards to Soulja Boy, he didn't want to fight because too many people were eating off his back and so on and so forth. In my opinion, he does too much and he should be more humble.
But do we think that he will? So last year, I did an interview with him. We talked about this, about how people react to him and the things he says on social media. Should he stop? He says, I think it was, quote, you engage in your own negativity. So he's very aware of what he's doing, but just can't seem to stop.
Nah, Chris Brown's the internet nigga. Chris Brown is like 50 Cent. All them niggas who get it popping on the internet when it's if he got a chick and she's liking like Tyson Beckford's picture, he's making videos threatening to pull up. That's how Chris Brown is. I'm not gonna tell him to change. I don't know if it's humbleness, but I don't think Chris Brown realizes his career in comparison to people who he named. Like, if y'all could tell me, and I looked it up, and maybe I looked
Bruno
up the
just
wrong
swept
shit.
the Grammys, basically.
Yeah, clearly, but when's the last time Chris Brown had a top 10 single, Billboard single, as a lead artist?
He's got plenty of hits. I don't even think that's the question.
No, it has to be the question because he doesn't fit with the Rihannas.
Even with the album he put out last year, he's not even
Bruno
close.
Mars just dropped a ton of hits. Like Beyonce, we saw what she just did. Of course, when she had her project, it was like 2 years ago now. And we saw with even Rihanna. Rihanna came off work and all that type of stuff. Yo, they are doing commercially, at least, I don't see them in the same level. Even though I think he's more talented than them, I don't see his career performing up to par where it's like, oh, this makes sense. So I think he might be, the stigma of Chris Brown is always that we compare him to Michael Jackson, right? And I think that ship has sailed. But I think people still look at him because he's tremendously talented, but I don't think his music performs like we would think somebody who we compare to Michael Jackson's music would perform.
I can take all that Michael Jackson comparison stuff off the table because truth be told, if YouTube were around when Michael Jackson was having sleepovers and shit like that, I don't think he would be the icon that he is right now. So, here and now, again, do you think Chris Brown should be more humble? That's what I'm looking at here because he does too much. And as you just said, he's conscious of what the fuck he's doing. At some point, you have to look at what people are saying and how they're reacting. And people were dragging him, and rightfully so. Shut the fuck up, nigga. Just relax. We don't want to hear all your fucking inner thoughts. Sometimes you have to just say, you know what? I'm doing too much. I know myself when I'm doing too much on Twitter. I go back, yes, I delete shit like everybody else, and I say, nigga, you're doing too much. Put the bottle down and go to sleep.
And I don't think it needs to be humble. And I'll give an example too. I think if you watch the latest documentary where he was talking about the Rihanna situation, he spoke about it in depth. It was the most humble I've ever seen him. It felt like he almost stripped.
I think it was acting, but go ahead.
All right. Well, I think he stripped down all that facade shit, all that tough guy. Like he came off very vulnerable. To me, that was a form of humbleness. I do think though, because his career has always been plagued by all the Rihanna stuff, and he has a huge fan base. fan base, the team breezy, they go crazy. I think at times he always has to remind people like, yo, nah, I'm still doing this, right? Like that's why you see him on social media saying, oh, my album just went like gold. He's going hard with it to let people know I'm still out here doing stuff. So I don't necessarily think that's him not being humble. I do think he thinks his career is a little bit higher than where it's at though.
I can get past Rihanna. And even though, as I said, he's convicted, and that's always going to be with him. But we've also got somebody that people often don't think about, Karrueche. Karrueche, I don't know what happened, but she filed a complaint. She got a restraining order. She said, this nigga's crazy. So yes, in my opinion, he's doing too much. He should be more humble. Great music, I fuck with his music heavy, but shut the fuck up sometimes. Just learn to pull back and just give it a break. I think he does too much.
Just off him suggesting the story?
What's that?
Just off him suggesting the story? Because that's pretty much all he said.
This is why I love social media. I love a front row seat to the bullshit. Give me the bullshit, and as we used to say, the fuckery.
Well, it seems like at times he was at the point of self-destruction. I mean, remember when the helicopter circled his house, the cops was outside. But I mean,
that's why I say he's doing too much. Be humble.
So you're saying he's lucky to be here almost. Like he don't need to be.
In a sense, I don't believe in luck, but I think he's fortunate to still have a fucking career. Fortunate.
I think when we compare him to like anybody else, his talent is always going to make him have a career. So I'll disagree there. But I do think he's fortunate to still have that fan base. His fan base has held him up.
Very loyal.
And that's why his head is above water.